This is ChatGPT's crawler reading a listing on a real marketplace last Thursday. Here it is back the next day and the next day. Here's Claude's crawler. It came 168 times in a week. Here's Perplexity's, here's Amazon's. The store owners had no idea this was happening. Almost no one does because almost no one can see it. I can, and just a week ago I started logging all AI crawlers on 13 live marketplaces. They showed up the first day and they have not stopped coming since. Here's what they actually do. In the last video I gave you 5 moves to get your marketplace recommended by AI search. And the fair question in the comments was, how do you know? How does anyone know what these crawlers actually do? Who's guessing and who's measuring it? Here's the problem. If you run a small site, you've probably never seen your server logs. Your analytics can't see AI crawlers at all. They don't run the JavaScript that your analytics depend on. So the whole industry is giving advice on visitors nobody can see. But I'm in an unusual position. I run a marketplace platform, which means many stores, one server layer. So I did the obvious thing. I started counting every request from every AI crawler every day. That was 7 days ago, 13 marketplaces, over 600 listings. 1 week of logs. So no guessing from here on, just what they say. And I can already tell you now that I actually expected to wait weeks for enough data to make this video. But the bots actually gave it to me in days. So here's what I did. So first of all, I identified what type of visitor it was. Was it a normal visitor, so a human, or was it a bot like ChatGPTBot, the ClaudeBot, the Facebook bot, the PerplexityBot, and so on. So if it was a normal human, then of course they went straight to the store page. But if it was a bot, then I identified what bot it was. I then counted what they looked at. Was it a listing? And of course also a timestamp, so I knew exactly what time of the day that they actually visited whatever page. So here's what I found out. So first of all, the bots, they came immediately and they kept on coming. So on average there was a bot visiting every 17 minutes around the clock, so day and night. And I was here tracking 13 active marketplaces with a total of 616 listings. So as you can see here, on day 1 there were 27 bots visiting, and in total on day 6 there had been 578 bots visiting these 13 marketplaces. And during this time I identified 11 different AI bots, and the interesting thing here is that Anthropic, OpenAI, they have multiple different AI bots. So as you can see here, Anthropic, they have the ClaudeBot, the ClaudeSearchBot, then they also have one called ClaudeUserBot, and OpenAI, they also have multiple ones here, right? So in this research I left out the Google bot because that is just the old one that we've been using for 20 years to index results, so I didn't look at that one. I only looked at 100% AI bots here, right? And as you can see here then is that the Anthropic bots, so the Claude bots, they were actually way more active than the ChatGPT ones. So the Claude crawlers, they came 3.7 times more than the ChatGPT ones. I then looked at what share of each marketplace catalog got read during this week, and that was very, very interesting. So overall of these 616 listings, 40% was read by these AI crawlers. So there were 2 stores that had 100% of their catalog read, and 5 stores that had 0 of their listings read by these AI crawlers during this week. I then looked at the speed. So how long did it take for the AI to read new listings created on these marketplaces? And actually 84% of the 61 new listings created this week were actually read within days. So 42 of them within 24 hours of going live. So that is actually very, very fast. And that also shows that new content does not really wait in line. So it really seems like these AI bots, they really like new stuff. So it's all about the age and not really that much about the content. As you can see here, the bots, they read what is new and linked. So up here we have listings that were less than 1 week old. 85% of them were read, whereas the back catalog, so 64 listings that were more than 3 months old, only 17% of these were read. And for what type of listings that these AI bots read, I of course expected that if you had a proper listing with a lot of content, that the AI bots would read those type of listings more often compared to, let's say, thin listings with not that much content. But at least this week it doesn't seem like that was the case. So here you can see 4 different stores where the blue line, that's listings that the bots read, whereas the red one here is listings that the bots skipped. And if you see here, so for store 1 for instance, so it read these listings that had a median of 333 words, whereas it skipped the ones with 257 words. So not a big difference. But for this one down here, for instance, this store, so it read the listings with 57 words, but skips the ones with 81 words, and similar down here. So it seems like there's not really a consistent pattern here, at least for the data this week. And if we then look at the page type that these AI crawlers visited, then we see that 3 out of 4 visits went straight to the listing pages. So basically your product pages are your websites. So as you can see here, listing pages, 74% of all the AI crawlers went straight to the listing pages and only 23% to the home pages. So that basically takes us to the scorecard. So what is most important for you as a marketplace owner in order to be read by these AI crawlers? Let's go through them. So first of all, let the bots in, of course. That goes hand in hand with my last week's video, where of course you have to let them in. So add all your listings in your sitemap and do not block them in your robots.txt, of course, or on Cloudflare. This is usually done automatically on most platforms you use. At least this is automatically done on Prometora. So that's the first one. Number 2, give it something to read. So this one is refined a little bit because it seems like AI does read listings above all, and that longer descriptions did not, at least with this week's data, earn more reads. I do, however, still feel like it is better to have longer descriptions on your listings than thin ones, but that was not proven in this week's data though. Then for 3, say what you are everywhere. So in the data, we can't actually see this, so quoting is invisible in the crawl logs. So this stands unproven. And the same with number 4, so be talked about where AI reads, that is also unproven. However, I do think that if you are talked about on other places where the AI crawl bots are reading, that will make it faster for your marketplace and for your listings to be read because you're being talked about somewhere else. But in this week's data, I can't prove this though. Number 5, I can prove though. So, and this one was actually quite undersold. So the strongest signal in the data is that the more listings you get, the better. Because 85% of all the listings that were read were under a week old versus the 17% that were more than 3 months old. So this really shows that it is very important for you as a marketplace owner to get new listings all the time. At least then you will be read by AI crawlers. And as a marketplace owner on Prometora, you can now go to the SEO and AI tab on your marketplace and see the AI visibility on your marketplace. So for instance, in this example for this marketplace here, you can see that 61% of all the listings on this marketplace were read by AI the last 7 days, and there were 5 distinct AI crawlers seen during these 7 days. You can then also see the listings that were never read by AI so far, and then you can try and do something about it. For instance, this sample event listing here, you can see that it says here thin description, so maybe it would help to make the description a little bit better. You can then click here and send the link to the seller that owns the listing on your marketplace and then ask them to update it, make it a little bit better. Or you can also do it yourself from the managed seller area. So you can then also see what the coverage by seller is, and you can also see the coverage by crawler. So what crawlers are reading your marketplace the most. That's it guys. I hope that you liked it and you found it interesting. And if you are considering building your own marketplace, then please go ahead and check out Prometora. There's a free trial. And also, if you would like to give this video a like, then please do it now. And you're also very welcome to subscribe to this channel. That would be a big help. I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Ciao.